Okay, well there's 99% of caravanning is really good, and there's 1% you could say it's a shit job, and this is it. Caravan cassette toilet. I'll just show you some of the common problems and how to overhaul the cassette, because it's an easy job, just a bit messy, but put up with it because it's worth it for the cost of the new ones. They're pretty expensive. So I hope you get something out of this. Before I even start, could you please press the subscribe button, because that really helps support us and helps us bring these videos to you. Firstly, there's two main problems with the toilets that I sort of find you have routine servicing. One is the seal, and the other one is just in under here, and it's this cutting blade. Now when you open the toilet to use it, that normally should pull out of the way, but in this case you can see it's just staying there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to replace that and how to replace the seal without too much work. So first thing is you've got to get, there's a little mark here, there's an open mark and a closed mark, and just use the lid itself, just a little primer, just to turn that, and then this will all lift straight out. And there you go. So just put this on your workbench. I know it looks pretty horrible, but I have already given this a bit of a clean. So I'll just give you an idea what to do. Now the first thing that I do, that's the actual cutting blade in there. And when you turn this should actually move with that, and you can, out there, but you can see it's quite clearly not. You can, some people tell you, look, you can do this just by lifting that up and move the whole thing out of the way and do it around there, but I find it's just as easy, and it's better to actually take off these 3 screws and just move this plate right off. So I'll just quickly do that. So just put that to one side. It's easy to line up. You've got 3 screws there, and there's little locators under there. So the reason I take it off, it gives you a good chance to clean everything up underneath. Now what you're going to do is move this out of the way, and you can actually take off that screw there, that one there that holds the cutting blade in place. So just undo that. And this will just lift off, and the cutting blade just fits into there. Now what's happened, it might be a bit hard to see, but the top of these breaks off. It becomes brittle over time, probably from the toilet chemicals, and that's all that's wrong with it. That has to go in and come up through the top, and it has to be exposed so it can link up to the actual blade. So you can see there it's not hardly exposed at all. It's just snapped off at the top. So all I do is put that aside at the moment, because what I want to do is take the seal out and replace the seal. So then you can see quite easy screws that hold the seal in place. So just undo each of those. Then what you can do is just lift that off. There's actually 6 screws. Sorry, I said before there were 5, but there's not. There's 6. And there's 2 little locating lugs on that just to help hold it in place. So just prise that up. And then you can take your seal out. So give everything a really good clean up while you've got it out, and then I'll show you how to reassemble. Okay, so now we're ready to reassemble everything. The first thing that I always do is just on the new seal, just put a little bit of rub a bit of olive oil into it. It really helps preserve it. And the same thing whenever we use the toilet, the first time after we've cleaned it, it's a really good idea just to put some olive oil on top of the cutting plate each time before you open it, and that'll keep the seal lubricated. You'll never have a problem if you do that. So that just quite simply fits on there. This, as I said, it's got a locating pin, so you can't mess that around. It's around here. So you just line that up, push that down, and then we'll just fix the screws in place for that. So next we're going to fit, I've got the 6 screws in there, so next time I'm going to fit the cutting blade, the new cutting blade back. There's a rubber O-ring on there, so the seal just goes up. There's a large and a small, so the large goes down. That fits through, and you can see now that comes well up past there, because that has to catch on the top of that. So all you do then is just put that on, like so, put the screw into that, and then just swing that out of the way back up to this one and just click it in position on top of that. It'll just slot in underneath it. So that's just there. So when you get to that point, just give it a little test once you've got it all on there. Just open it, you'll see it slides out of the way, bring it back and it'll slide back. So then all you've got to do now is put on that front retaining clip and then we'll reassemble it. So I'll show you that one in a couple of seconds. So there you go, we've got the cover on. You can see that's all working properly, just how it's meant to. Beautiful. So now we'll just put this back into the cassette itself. Again, this is pretty simple. You've got an arrow on there and you've got your two O's there. So just line it up with that first one where we had it there like that. Again, just use your little slide just to help turn it. And that'll just turn around and it just locks in position. And then put your slide back in. Now as I said, when you first change the cassette each time, just put some olive oil on the top of the cutting plate. You see now that works perfectly, but that will protect the seal and keep it well lubricated, because once they dry out they crack and then they're a throwaway job, it doesn't work. So that's it, job all done. I can't say you enjoyed it, but I hope you learned something out of it. And please, as I said, please hit the subscribe button because that really helps us to keep bringing videos to you. Thanks very much and have a good day and enjoy the other 99% of caravanning. Cheers.